Welcome to Step Up to the Sport, a conversation series bringing together the minds of women's baseball and women in baseball. I'm Kate Haines, the moderator of today's conversation and the archivist for the International Women's Baseball Center. Our host today will be IWBC president and Marshall University women's sports history professor, Kat Williams. Our guest today is Luis Lopez, and we'll be talking about his journey advocating for women's baseball in Latin America and his team, Reales. In the early stages of his project, many baseball people did not understand his eagerness to venture into the female version of the game, so they have given him little encouragement, to the point of calling him crazy. But Lopez, who immigrated to the United States at the age of 5 with his family and who currently resides in the town of San Mateo, decided to take on women's baseball. He is in love with his homeland despite the distance that separates him, and even despite being trained in a culture as different from the Nicaraguan as the American one is. He dreams of the popularization of this sport among the ladies of his country. Movies such as A League of Their Own were an inspiration for Luis to build the team. The team Reales comes from Royals and came from the Montreal Royals, which had two of his favorite players, Jackie Robinson and Roberto Clemente, two iconic figures in baseball and in Nicaragua. So welcome, Kat and Luis. Good to see you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Good to see you.
Thank you.
Kate.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good to see
And
you.
I'm going to turn it over to Kat for our conversation
Okay.
today.
All right. Thank you, Kate. Luis, thank you so much for being here. We didn't necessarily plan it this way, but of course it is Hispanic Heritage Month, and September 15th through October 15th. And so we're really grateful that you're here regardless of the month, but especially now. I am just blown away by what you have done and what you continue to do with girls and women in baseball. And so our listeners can get a sense of sort of how you came along, how you got to that point. Can you talk to us a little bit? Tell us a little bit about your own baseball story. Did you just spring up loving women's baseball, or where did that come from for you?
Actually, growing up in the 90s, watching movies, especially League of Their Own, it was a big box office hit. It was huge.
Yeah.
I mean, you had Madonna, Rosie O'Donnell, Davis, and it was great. I mean, as a kid, usually growing up in San Francisco, you have the Giants, and then you have the Oakland A's. Right. So you're used to, I got used to have seen, the Battle of the Bay, the earthquake in 1989.
Yeah.
So, it was like, okay, this is a guy sports. You grew up with that. You play baseball, you play Pee Wee, Little League, Pony, the Babe Ruth League. I played all of that here in South San Francisco. So, as soon as the movie came on, I was like, my aunt, I was like, let's go watch. You like baseball, let's go watch a baseball movie.
Yeah.
I usually am a huge baseball guy. So in the theaters in that time, I also watch Field of Dreams with Kevin Costner.
Yeah. Right.
With Kevin Costner. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, they will take me to the movies. And then this time it was girls.
Yeah.
I'm like, whoa, hold on a minute. I'm like, hold on a minute. These girls play baseball? I'm like, it's like, okay. It was a fun movie, very emotional. How two sisters, the whole story at the end.
Oh yeah.
I mean, but the part of being a women's baseball was kind of like new. Girls can wow. So during the time, I would go to the stadiums, and then all of a sudden I hear. It just kept going to my mind everywhere I would go. Like I would go to the stadiums, and then they will put on the big screen that scene when Tom Hanks tells them there's no crying in baseball.
Yeah, right.
So everywhere I went, it would always remind me, okay, these girls play baseball. And I was like, okay. Yeah. So as time went on, I played ball, high school, and independent league. So my mind was not really into girls baseball. It's just concentrating on me,
Right, sure.
My daughter was born and she's a girl, so I was like, okay, yeah. And then my mother always like baseball. So then I headed back home in 1999. I headed to Nicaragua and start going. The more I went, I saw more the teams that I ended up liking teams like El Boer, which is one of the top teams in Nicaragua, more historical, in the Los Indios del Boer. And then as more often as I would go, then I would get more into their culture, because I've been raised here in America since I was 5.
Right.
So I don't know my own culture that way.
Yeah. Right.
So as soon as I start getting the movement, I come back home. I'm used to seeing NCAA, Oregon Ducks, Georgia, Stanford. All the softball.
Right.
So I'm like, okay, where's and then it came to my head. I'm like, where's women's baseball? Where the heck is it?
Where indeed?
Where is it?
Yeah.
And then I ended up watching the 2006. The first, I think it was the first World Series for women's baseball. I think in 2006, where USA won. I believe, I'm not 100%, but I believe they did. And then I was like, whoa, that's women's baseball. So where is this? And then I started, going back a little bit, and then there's one team that's been around. What's that team's name? The Colorado
Silver Bullets.
Silver, yes. So
Yeah.
I had to do a little research on, do homework.
Yeah.
So I went back and I was like, oh, wow, this is amazing.
Yeah.
And also I started going back, and then I ended up going back in time to a league of their own.
Yeah.
The AAGPBL. So I was like, okay, so this is actually history. Let me dig up more. So I have this picture. I would start digging up like around, this was between 2006 on to further. So I started digging up. I ended up finding a photo of the first Nicaraguan with girls in uniform.
Oh, nice.
Black and white. So I was like, wait a minute, this is some really hard stuff. This is hardcore. So I ended up going to more trips, and during that era, I started, messing around with companies like New Era, Majestic, getting licensed, because you cannot do quantity unless you have something registered as a business, before you get discount. So I ended up taking some licenses so I can build with New Era and with Majestic. Also the emblem source. So this is our emblems. If you notice, our emblem sources are from that company, Emblem Source, which handles the patches for the MLB, NBA.
Okay. Yeah.
So I started doing, getting everything built up, because you don't want to, if you want to do something right, you got to have a fundamental. You got to start from the idea, and let's see what's going on. So I ended up going to 2016. I ended up going another trip. So I started going through fields, and I see softball. Yeah, softball. It's like, whoa, okay. And I talked to one of the one of the guy that I actually used to be a scout for the Atlanta Braves in Nicaragua. His name is Marvin Thornberry. So I talked to him and I told him, hey, Marvin, I go, can you train a girl as you train these kids to become a great ball player? He's like, yeah, sure, no problem. And it was this one girl from Tecuantepe. Her name is Carl Rocha. So I ended up telling her, are you interested? She had the enthusiasm, everything. So I was like, okay, cool. So I ended up going back to him and I go, hey man, can you train her? She wants to train. So it's like, well, it's like, well, guys, and try to bring me up excuses. Yeah,
right,
like,
of course.
I was like, are you serious? All right, no, okay, that's fine. So and then I said, you know what? Screw this. Yeah. Let's go back to the drawing board. Start doing the uniforms, bringing out the names. I was like, what name should I use? Yeah. What name should I use? And then during that time, it was Jackie Robinson's movie 42 came out. Right. So I was like, wait a minute, that sounds like a good idea. So I said, why don't we become the M, which is the M of the Milwaukee Brewers. We got authorized to use it. Oh, that's great. I said, why don't we use the M? We use the M, and then we can use Managua, and then they can become Royals, Reales. So
Yeah.
I became like the Montreal Royals.
That's
So
great.
I grabbed all that. And it's ironically because I started reading, I was like, okay, so Jackie Robinson is from Montreal Royals. And then all of a sudden, you have Roberto Clemente, who belonged in that same team.
Right. Yep.
And Roberto Clemente is an iconic figure in Nicaragua.
Oh, yeah.
He passed away, tried to do help during the earthquake to Nicaragua.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
yeah.
at the same time, we honor both players by having my team.
That's great.
So it just became, it was meant to be.
That's fantastic. What a great story.
The first team in Central America to have a women's baseball team. Actually, I didn't even know what the heck I was doing. I was like, all right, let's play ball.
Yeah.
I want these girls to play ball. I want them to play baseball. But the inspiration is the WBSC Women's Baseball Championship, which is, I tell my girls, that's the red carpet for you guys.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the holy grail.
Mm-hmm.
That's the opportunity for you guys to actually show that you guys can play.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's an opportunity that once in a lifetime.
Mm-hmm.
You guys, if you guys consider great, then that's the spot. That'll be it. That would be it. The WBSC Women's World Cup. To this day, some girls don't understand that a little bit.
Yeah.
They think it's not a big. They think it's not a big deal, but it is.
It is a very big deal.
It's a huge big deal.
Yeah. Yeah.
You gotta train every day.
Yeah.
You gotta, work on your mechanics. You gotta, drills. They think that's only, my dream. I'm like, no.
Yeah.
It's not only my dream.
Right.
You go to the United States, any little girl that plays baseball, any teenager that plays baseball, they tell you, what do you want to do? I want to play for the women's U.S. national team.
Right.
That's the big leagues.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if you play with high school, you play with college, because I see some girls playing college like Cementelli, who plays actually minor leagues, I believe.
Yeah.
Then you got Alex Hugo.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You got Alex Jorge.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you got Alvarez, who's now the manager.
Right.
So
right.
all these girls, I told them, these girls dedicate themselves to be there.
That's right.
And it's not about pay. It's not about money. Mm-hmm. It's about pride.
Right.
It's about representing your country. So that's the opportunity. I want these girls to experiment.
Yeah.
That's the holy grail.
Yeah. Where did they? I mean, how easy or how difficult was it initially to get girls to play baseball? To say, yeah, okay, let's do that. I mean, was it a hard sell?
Actually, it was. I'm not gonna lie. It was pretty. It was pretty hard. Eventually, that trip in 2017, which is the year that the team was born, we went to. They rented us a field. It was a university field, Unica. So, for the worst part is that they had a prospects game. They had a bunch of kids playing before we start doing a little tryout of how advanced are these girls. Yeah. So I see a lot of scouts, and they're like, "Hey, Louis, come here." I'm like, people knew me already. Hey, what's up, man? What the hell are you doing here? They're like, what are you doing here? And I'm like, a tryout. Yeah. So where's the guys? No, the girls. Oh, man, you're crazy, man. That's crazy. That's not good, man.
Right.
First of all, good. You're not gonna make money because they're not gonna get signed by a major league team.
Right.
You're gonna waste your money. These girls are not disciplined. These girls, they don't know what's baseball. All they know is softball. Right. So you're wasting your time. And you're crazy. You're local.
Yeah.
So I was like, you know what? Let's give it a shot. Let's give it a shot. Let's see what happens. So eventually the tryouts, it was a big success. I had some of my friends that actually play professionally in Nicaragua help me out. They start looking at the batting, at the pitching, and and catching. So they actually had like a little introduction on how is to become a ball player. They went through that, little training, a little training and everything. And so that same event, I pulled out what we have, the uniforms, the jerseys, the pants, the socks, the helmet, and I gave out a few New Era hats. So here you guys, this is the introduction of the team.
Right.
So eventually, we had in the beginning a few people that think that that this is a business. It's not a business.
Yeah.
Women's baseball is not a business. Yeah. Don't get it twisted. No. This is women's baseball is an opportunity. It's not a business. It's not like you're professional and you're gonna make thousands and hundreds of dollars. Right. No, it's opportunities.
Right.
I keep telling that to my girls. There's some people that in Nicaragua that they think this is a business. It's not a business. Yeah. And they make their own teams, and for that hopeness that I want to become popular. People, to be honest, people don't know who I am in Nicaragua. They know my team, but they don't know me.
Right.
They're like, who's that? Anyways, but it all comes down to that. This girl needed the opportunity. I gave it to them. Right. In the beginning, the Facebook. It was so funny because the first page that actually followed us was actually the AAGPBL.
Oh yeah, that's great.
They were the first ones.
That's great.
They put it up on their Facebook. This is the first Nicaraguan team.
This is great.
This is great. This is great. And they didn't have no uniforms. They had no uniforms.
Right.
I mean, there's pictures. I think you guys have seen that they had no uniform, nothing.
Right.
And the rest, well, it came little by little. They started getting more. It started getting more and more attractive.
Right.
So,
sure.
Usually I tell the girls, train. That's all you got to do is train. I mean, 2 hours, 1 hour of your dedication, it means a lot for your progress.
Sure. So I'm sorry. So you convinced some girls to try out. You create a team. So how many young women did you what ages, first of all, and then how many girls and young women did you have sort of the first year? Did you have an abundance, or was it just a bare minimum?
Well, in the first year, in the beginning, like I said, there was actually one little girl. I'll be honest with you, this is a great story.
Yeah.
So I met this one girl named Margarita Romero. She's one of the top pitchers, right? Unfortunately, she didn't make it for the national team for Nicaragua that went to Aguascalientes. But I always tell her, that's part of your development. You got to be humble yourself, even though you're great.
Yeah.
Maybe it doesn't matter. You didn't make it this time, but you will make it the following time. Trust me.
Right.
So this young girl, she's 18. She's actually captain of my team.
Oh, great.
So this one girl, right, 14 turning 15 at that time. We did practice because I stayed more than a month in Nicaragua during that time. I had to be there a little bit longer. Girls were only showing up maybe 5, 4.
Yeah.
To a little practices we had.
Right.
And then one day, she comes up to me like, we went to the bleachers, right? And I was kind of like, I don't know if this is gonna work out. It's that risk that you see 5 girls only practicing, and you're like, is this gonna work out?
Right.
Or should I just quit right now? Now that it's a little bit, people don't know too much about it.
Sure.
So that one girl comes up to me and she goes, she saw me that I was kind of like disappointed.
Yeah.
And then she goes, don't worry, they will come. Just, you're here in Nicaragua and people don't know, but when you go back to your country, the United States, and you start working hard, people are going to go through it. Trust me. And I was like, I don't know. And then she almost started crying. I need this. She tells me, I need this. This is the only opportunity I have.
Yeah.
I was like, you know what? You're right.
Yeah.
When I go back to the United States, I'm gonna keep working. I'm gonna start working on the quantities of the jerseys, on the baseball pants, on the socks, on the helmets, on the decals, on the orders, and just get the whole team going.
Yeah.
So that's how one little inspiration of a little talk that's all it took.
That's a fantastic story. And so she continued to play then, and has continued to play.
Practice. She has how can I say this? So they invited our team because Facebook, it's a very good media.
Oh yeah.
It's a way communication. So as I kept going, I started making the team a little bit more popular.
Right.
Even though you gotta pay for it, but I didn't care.
Yeah.
You gotta make it popular. You gotta make it more out there. Radio stations in Nicaragua start getting interested.
That's great.
TVs, local news start getting into it, and the girls became a little bit more popular. Okay, this is the first women's baseball team.
Yeah.
They did a story on her. They had a little clinic with Jerry Laurie from the Oakland A's, 2 major leagues that went on behalf of the Embassy of United States.
Right.
So they invited our team, some of the girls from my team, and other teams. To go ahead and see where they at. So she made it into the front cover of the newspaper.
Oh, nice. I bet she was excited, wasn't she?
At being at 80% complete as a ball player.
Wow. Yeah.
So, I told her, well, that's good. Opportunities like that, they will come.
That's right.
After that, then, the girls start getting more popular.
Sure.
I try to make them, how can I say this, more to be recognized.
Yeah. Sure.
Getting a photographer and take what it takes. Show them that they belong in baseball.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's all about inspiration.
Right. Well, and so, I mean, it is about inspiration, and you provide that not only for them, but for us and for so many. I mean, regardless of the country, people are struggling to do the same things that you're doing for girls and women in the game of baseball. And before we go on to anything else, let me just personally say thank you, and that your hard work it shows, and your love for the game and for those girls, and that's really impressive. And so we thank you for that.
It's like how can I say it's usually our motto. We have a motto, and it's we're more than a team. And that's our motto. We're more than a team, and the girls respond, we're a family.
That's
the motto. That's the motto. We're more than a team. And it so happens that like it came to the it was kind of hard. Our first game televised with the inspiration of my team. There were 3 more teams that came along. They had Felinas from León. Then you had Atletas from Matagalpa, and you had this one Japanese guy named Chota who created his own team, Guerreras, which is our Warriors, also from Managua. So they had a little, how can I say this? A little tournament televised by the federation, Federation of Baseball. So here's the sad part where I found out certain things. So my box, right, that I delivered to Nicaragua, didn't make it. They had it in storage. So the person that I authorized to release it was not responsible. Was not responsible. And he almost made me lose all the uniforms for the girls, all the hats. the catcher's gear, the helmets,
Wow.
some cleats that I made for the Margarita, some custom cleats. Everything, I almost lost it because it was abandoned at the warehouse in customs.
Oh, right. Wow.
So I spent more than a month. The tournament was that 1 week away. I didn't have my gear.
Oh,
I was like, what's going on?
yeah.
And then and eventually they released it. I paid a lot of money, so they released it.
Yeah.
They received their uniform the day of the tournament while they were playing.
Wow.
While they were playing, they received their uniform, their whole gear.
Oh, wow.
And then for the first time after the third inning, right? After the third inning, so then I start seeing the girls in the uniform that my vision, I started seeing it. I was like, this is it.
Yeah.
This is it. And I was with a bunch of my friends. There they are. Look at that.
Yeah.
Like, God, they're like, man, dude, they look like an American team.
That's
Right.
That's
I was
great.
like, that's right. That's right.
Yeah.
I go, that's what I want.
Yeah.
That's what I want. That's what I want. That's what I want. That they cannot say, okay, well, United States, they look great.
Yeah.
No, because we look great.
That's right. That's right.
They're not gonna be that. We're them. They know. They usually see it like I told you. There's a lot of softball, so they see a lot of Oregon Duck, a lot of and they see their uniforms like, whoa, they're awesome, they're cool, But now they're in that position, like, wait a minute, that's the same uniform, and we're wearing it. So more inspiration, more and more. It all comes down to, I mean, the girls didn't have aluminum bats. They had like custom made Nicaraguan bats, wooden, the first year.
Yeah. Wow.
So it was kind of like, there were some obstacles that I went through.
Sure.
Discrimination, because I was told, don't think because you go start getting discriminated, that doesn't mean I don't get discriminated. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I'm a guy, so it's the same thing. I get discriminated for being the person that actually gave you guys the opportunity. And
well,
people,
I'm sorry. Do you think that has changed much for you guys in the, few years that you've been playing? I mean, is it still as bad? Do you still have those same challenges?
Yes and no. Yes and no. First, let's go with the yes. Okay, so when they went to Aguascalientes for the Pan American game, Nicaragua didn't do so good. I mean, they were how can I say this? They went 5 knockouts, 1 win, and 1 lost. But out of those 7 games, 5 were knockouts. So a lot of people, they're like, oh, well, why do they get the opportunity to go to a national team? They can't play. Yeah. So in that way, yes. But again, like I was telling the new girls that are into my team, don't expect, and this is lack of knowledge. Don't expect to go to a tryout to learn. No. You gotta be ready when they come out to those tryouts. You have to be ready. So it is for you as an individual to practice. That's why you have a team. So you can practice, you can develop, and you can become a ball player. When it comes to a tryout of a national team, then you're ready. You're ready. You're not gonna be going to the national team and learn, because that's not how it works. That doesn't work like that. So in 3 weeks, of learning, and you're gonna go to a Pan American game, those 3 weeks are nothing. They're worthless. When you go years of practice, that's all your effort, all your dedication is gonna be proven when you go to a tryout. And if they select you, then that is gonna be proven when you're in the game. But if you don't, but that's the thing with some of the girls, some of the girls, I call them Sunday girls. Sunday girls, that means that they want to play when there's games.
That's right. Yeah. That's an age-old problem.
I think
I think that's a problem everywhere.
Yes, it becomes a huge problem.
Right.
Because you expect them to do better,
mm-hmm. Right,
and they don't put effort.
Yeah.
So you can have the talent,
mm-hmm.
but if you don't develop, then you're useless.
Right.
And that's one thing I keep telling these girls, that if you don't practice,
mm-hmm.
if you don't have self-discipline, in any sport, those are the first things that they want to teach you is discipline.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, personally, I'd rather have a ball player that works her rear end off day in and day out than one that was just born with this natural talent, right? Because you know that if you're going to work your tail off, you're going to learn and you're going to get better and you're going to be dedicated, right? So,
exactly. And then you got to explain that to these girls, because they're girls.
Yeah.
And especially in Nicaragua, it's a new category.
Sure. Yeah.
I mean, it's a new category it's only been, since I developed it in 2017, it's only been 3 years.
Yeah.
So, like I told him, maybe softball doesn't require too much.
Yeah.
Dedication.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe, you want to be comfort of the little,
mm-hmm.
then that's up to you.
Right.
But if you want to take it to the next level,
mm-hmm.
then you got to practice.
Right.
You got to work your butt off.
Right.
Then you're going to see results.
Yeah.
But don't expect from the holy man upstairs to tell you, oh, here you go.
Just hand it to you. It's all yours. Well, so are you, do you work at all with other folks doing women's baseball or girls baseball in other Latin American countries?
Yes, actually I do. I'm very close with the Dominican Republic
mm-hmm.
and with the Federation.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very proud of how, and I'm very grateful because they were with me through these whole steps.
Mm-hmm.
The president of Acopave, Hector Peleira, he passed away
mm-hmm.
from the Dominican Republic, talked to me via by phone.
Mm-hmm.
And I told him, and he heard the story, what happened with my stuff.
Yeah.
And he's like, did you get it? I'm like, it cost me money, a lot of money, almost $2,000. Like,
yeah, wow. Yeah.
And he goes, look, put it this way. Your satisfaction is going to be when there will be a national team.
Right.
All of it is going to be worth it. It doesn't, money shouldn't count. So don't worry about it.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, it is what it is. And you keep it going, keep your head up
mm-hmm.
and go forward.
Right.
I was like, thank you. I really appreciate
mm-hmm.
that. At that time, I became good friends with Manuel Frias,
mm-hmm.
which he's the secretary of COPABE, which is the Confederation of the Caribbean Baseball.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
He's been helping me a lot. Another great person, the Dominican, is Jose Cano, which is Robinson Cano's dad.
Right.
And like I said, it'll be great for you guys to have one meeting with them, because
we would love
their inspiration.
That.
Their inspiration for me and becoming Las Reales
mm-hmm.
has maybe not financially, but just by giving me advices have helped me put the girls ahead.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, of course. We would love to do a panel discussion at some point with you and any of those guys that I think that would be fantastic. I mean, we wanted to start with your story and talk to you, but I think that would be a wonderful panel, because truly, hearing these stories, we complain or we talk about, girls and women in baseball in the US and what we have and what we don't have. And, what's important to understand is that the game of baseball is an international game. And I think sometimes people in the US don't get that. They don't understand that. And it's so international. It's so wonderful. And the fact that girls and women play it internationally in such huge numbers is proof of that.
Exactly. It's exactly what Manuel has been telling me. Before I told him about what's going on with the interview, he's like, "This is great, Luis. This is great, man. This is actually this is an interview from your hometown." I was like, "Well, your second hometown." I was like, "Well, not really. This is actually my hometown because I've been raised here." I go like,
"Yeah, right."
I got a lot of love from my country, Nicaragua. I love my country, where I was born, but being raised in America I mean, if it wasn't for United States, probably women's baseball in Nicaragua never existed.
Yeah.
It would never be what it would have happened. And the girls tell me that, thank you, for doing it.
Yeah.
And then Manuel has, go ahead.
No, go ahead. I don't want to cut you off.
So Manuel has told me that, hey, he goes, look at this, man. Your team, Reales, is the most populous team as a team, not as a national team, but as a team in Latin America.
Yeah, that's pretty darn cool.
They're everywhere.
Yeah.
They're everywhere. I was like, okay.
Yeah.
It so happens that there's going to be Reales in Dominican Republic.
Oh, okay.
So we're going to have the team in Managua, Reales. We're going to have one team in the Dominican Republic.
Okay.
So it's going to be one.
That's great.
2 teams, one family.
Yeah. So when is that? When do you plan to sort of debut that team? Is that going to be? I mean, I know with COVID, baseball is sort of difficult everywhere right now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's the only thing that has holding us back. It's the pandemic. I was probably I was actually the first team in Nicaragua. There was a girls team league going on in Nicaragua, and the girls, they're like, when are we gonna play? No.
Yeah.
Your health is first.
Yep.
Baseball is second.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it. I mean, I got mad at one of my girls because they went to a national softball. I was like, what are you doing?
Yeah. It's
scary. Come on, this is a pandemic. I mean, this is real, man.
Yeah.
This is real. People are dying,
Yeah.
Until August, that they started training again, and then they start getting a little by little. I got them masks, I got them creams, I got everything, alcohol, the whole shebang. They travel. I pay for a bus to take them wherever they need to be taken.
Right. Good.
My team is the only team that travels around Nicaragua to promote women's baseball.
Oh, that is fantastic. Fantastic.
They're like a traveler's team. Yeah. They play boys. They play girls. It don't matter.
Good for them.
Boys or girls.
Good for them. Great. Take on all comers. Come on. We'll take you on. Yeah.
Exactly. And that's the mentality that the girls should have.
Yeah.
Be ready for what it comes.
Yep. You have to.
Yeah.
Is there, I can tell you right now, I'm getting pretty jazzed up about what you guys have got going on there, and I know a lot of other people will be too when they hear this. Now, a lot of people already know what you're doing, of course, but so one question I have: do you have a website or someplace that we can send people to get information? And
the girls have a Twitter, which is Reales de Managua, a Twitter, and then they have an Instagram, Reales de Managua, and then they have Facebook, which is, thank God, Facebook has been great because being a little team, we got about 17,000 followers.
Oh, that's fantastic. Good.
Well, and we'll link all of that into our episode notes and the description as well.
Okay.
So people can find it.
Put all that out there so people can see it. So is there, I mean, obviously you guys are going to be doing, another team in the Dominican Republic. But what else do you have? What's next? I mean, you guys are, you're just doing all kinds of great stuff. What do you have coming up? What can you tell us about what's happening?
Well, one of our main goals, myself and probably the team in Dominican Republic, the Reales, one of my biggest things, usually, I don't know if I'm, most likely I'm going to do a GoFundMe or something like that, but it is for the girls to get the opportunity to come to the United States.
Yeah. Yeah.
And play ball.
Right.
Just, that's the big thing. Maybe, I know, what is it? Baseball for All does a lot of tournaments.
Yep. They do.
Baseball for
they
All
absolutely
does.
do.
And
Yep.
maybe with, they're great. I mean, that site has even, we've been featured on that page too.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you this then. Is there would there be a problem getting your girls to come here? I mean, aside from money, is there any kind of political or other reason that they would have a hard time coming? Okay.
They would, no.
Okay.
I believe that would, what counts on us is financially.
Sure. Of course. Yeah.
Like I'll tell the girls, I go, uniform, I can take care of. Helmets, I can take care of. Bats, I can take care of.
Right.
The base, catcher gears, man, I got them right now. A good deal. A brand new Nike gear, ready to go sent to Nicaragua. Wherever I see, maybe in sporting goods or my friends or kids that I train here, because I train kids here, baseball.
Right.
So I'd be like, they have a nice bat. Hey, you still using it? No, I'll buy it off you. No. So people sometimes give me good bats and like, to the girls.
Yeah.
That's a good deed.
Right.
I got some of my friends that are like, when is the girls gonna come to like San Francisco? Example, right? Let's keep it example and face the what is it? The Black Sox. Black Sox, I believe this year.
Yeah.
The women's team, Black Sox.
Yeah.
So when are they gonna play?
Yeah, well, it's money, right? I
was like,
they would love to, right? Well, so if there is, let's just say, and I'm again using an example, if there was a tournament, say, would it take a couple of years, roughly, or let's say there's a tournament planned for 2 summers from now, say 2022. Is that then you guys would have an opportunity to do some fundraising, so is 2 years a good amount of time to sort of give you,
it should give us a good year. Like I said, with the good fundraising for them. It is an opportunity, like I always tell them.
Yeah.
But aside from money, like you said, here's another question a lot of people tell me. Are they ready for that?
Yeah.
That's another question.
Right.
Let's just say they get the money, they want to travel there, they want the reales to go to the United States, right? Are they ready for that? Right now, if you were to tell me, Luis, right? We're having a tournament February. We want to invite the reales and we're going to go ahead and help them out with the trip, let's just say.
Right.
But is your team ready?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
They need to develop more.
Well, and that's kind of what I was thinking too with like this 2-year period. Like, sometimes if you have a goal, if you say, all right, now we got to practice, we got to work together because you've got this to look forward to. Sometimes that's the kind of inspiration you need to say, instead of just like, well, one day we're going to do whatever. And
I always tell them.
No, go ahead.
I always tell them, be ready for what it comes.
Yeah.
But don't slack it. Don't slack it.
Right.
Don't slack it because, the way I was raised as a kid is like the way they look at you is the way they're gonna treat you.
Yeah.
The way you perform is the way you is your life.
Yeah, that's good.
So if you're not disciplined, right? Let's just say you're not disciplined, and you just, like I said, let's say I have a few of the Sunday girls which I call.
Yeah.
They do a lot of errors. They do a lot of this. I mean, exactly. There's some errors that you can make.
Yeah,
it's acceptable.
Yeah.
but not frequently.
Right.
When it becomes a habit of you making errors, then something's wrong.
Right. Yeah.
You're not putting enough effort.
Mm-hmm.
So there's no excuses. I always keep telling them there's no excuses. I have some of the girls that actually went to Aguascalientes. I was very proud. One of the girls who made she's the first girl actually in Nicaragua to actually hit a grand slam.
Oh wow.
She hit the big salami, and I was like,
wow.
She's from my team. Her name was Tishoni Hunter. So I was like, this girl's great. This is great. This is great. A grand slam. That's something you'd be like, whoa.
Oh yeah.
In center field. So I was like, and she's from my team. Yeah, there you go. I was like, there you go. See. Yeah. Even though it was, let's just say, a lucky hit, whatever it was, it should be enough inspiration for that girl. Yeah. Right. Yeah. To get better, because she knows she has the talent. Mm-hmm. Right. But if you slack it, that grand slam is worthless. That's right. Yeah. It's only going to be that one, and that's it. What do they call a one-hit wonder? Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah, exactly. Well, and there are all kinds of tournaments too. I mean, it's one thing to say your team isn't ready to come to the U.S. and play in a tournament that is the equivalent of the USA national team. But then there may be some other kinds of tournaments that are maybe not quite of that level, right? That still gives them that opportunity to play in the U.S. and to have that experience. And oh yes, I mean, I see, who knows, right? Like I always tell them, they got excited because they're like, wow, you're gonna get interviewed by International Women's Center. I'm like, exactly. See, I go in women's baseball. Believe it or not, I keep telling them, women's baseball is growing. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It's growing very fast. It is growing right now. Yeah. We're in a point where the girls are everywhere. Yeah. You see women's GM, you see women's trainers, right? Women in office, MLB. Right. We're not even talking minor leagues. MLB. Yeah. Announcers. Yeah. So if they were to make a WMLB, let's just say that. Yeah. They can do it. I know they can do it. Yeah. They can definitely do it. They have the potential. I was talking about to Manuel, and I think the same inspiration Jose Cano has the same thing. I think we're all in that same vision. Yeah, yeah, good. And but it reminds me of the scene where Mr. Harvey was telling him, in a woman's business, like, that the war's over. I don't need him. I love him, but I don't need him. Right. And yeah. That's it. And then Mr. Lowenstein grabbed the team and said, no. Yeah. I believe in this. Yeah. I believe in this, and I want to take over. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that's the kind of attitude we want to take. Right. And that's the kind of attitude. That's the kind of attitude you have to have, right? I mean, it's you got to put yourself out there. And the same is true whether it's you as a coach or a leader of a team, or if it's a player or a fan. You gotta buy in. You gotta put yourself out there. And what you are doing and what your team is doing is just such an inspiration for girls and women in baseball in Latin America, in the U.S., around the world. And so I hope that we can count this conversation as the beginning of a partnership that we can build on. Are there definitely ways that we can and when I say we now, I mean the IWBC, but also the public. I mean, how can we help you, right? How can we help you make this happen? And other than writing you a check, which none of us can do, but rather than just sit down and write you $1 million check or something, what can we do? How can we help? Well, one thing that I really loved, and we've been doing it for 2 years, and then we got Manuel and the Dominicans to actually do it too. It was a great idea. I think Ryan was with the idea of weekend women's in baseball a week, which is
Oh
we've
yeah.
been doing it for 2 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think that is great because you get to see other teams
Yeah,
from other
right,
countries, other
right.
national teams, and then you
Yeah.
see them.
Yeah. That's right. That's right.
And you see their talent. You see,
Mhm.
this year we did something different. So, one of the designers that I have, it's like, why don't we just put the Women's International logo big in the background?
Mhm.
It's
Yeah.
like, that's great.
Yeah.
Last year we did a little bit more simple. We grabbed photos. We start putting little logos.
Right. Sure.
This year I go, let's make it a whole big thing. Like put the
Right.
logo in the back because they're this is the weeks and that's their idea.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people in Nicaragua loved it. They're like, whoa, just
That's
the
great.
idea that
That's great.
an American side is getting to know
Oh yeah.
these girls
Yeah.
getting recognized in that, not
Right.
only in social media,
Yeah.
but also throughout other federations. You got the Canadians who will follow you guys,
Absolutely.
the U.S. national team,
Japan,
Japan,
Korea.
WBSC.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
the reality is it's going to be mentioned throughout. It's now part of the women's community.
Yeah, it is. And it's
At
part
the
of
women's baseball.
it is part of what we call at the IWBC our baseball family. And
Exactly.
and you guys are part of that, and a really exciting part of that. And Women in Baseball Week was sort of the brainchild of Ryan, who is on the IWBC board. So we claim him, he's ours. But Women in Baseball Week has brought us so many wonderful people like yourselves who are doing all these wonderful baseball related things for girls and women around the world. And it's just grown every year. And we love it that you and so many others participate in it. But don't hesitate to tell people, hey, we need your help, right? Because there are a lot of people out there who love what you're doing. And again, not all of us are millionaires. We can't fund you, but we can help. And I think we have a few questions from people. Kate, don't you have a few questions from Facebook
I do.
along those lines?
And we are running a little short on time, and a couple of them have been addressed, kind of like how can we support your team. But we have one from Joshua on Facebook. And you've talked about this a little bit as well in some of your stories earlier, but he wants to know, what are the greatest obstacles you and your team have faced recently during your baseball journey, and how have you all overcome them?
I believe that question would be the discrimination. That's one of them. That's probably one of the big ones. That's probably the biggest one of all, knowing that Nicaragua is more baseball. It's a baseball country. Yeah. And it's very guy.
Yeah.
Guys, I said earlier, there's no room for women in baseball. And I believe not only in Nicaragua, but I believe it worldwide. Yeah. When they say baseball, women, there's no room. There's no room. Yeah. But there is room. And it brings out that there's a saying, I believe it was Joe DiMaggio said, that baseball is not discrimination.
Yeah, that's right.
And that's what it is. Baseball is no discrimination. And that's one thing that guys, certain Latin guys, as much in Nicaragua, Mexico, Guatemala, Latin America, there's a lot of guys that they don't believe in that. They will not believe that. You know what I mean? Right. And barriers have to be broken regardless. Right. Just like Jackie Robinson, Roberto Clemente, they have to be broken. Yeah. You know what I mean? You cannot divide one sport.
Right.
That's right.
And that's probably one of the biggest ones.
Yeah. Okay. And speaking about breaking barriers, ALR Stories on Instagram wonders, what are the greatest opportunities for women in baseball in the next 3 to 5 years?
Yeah. Good question.
Well, that's a good one. Like I was saying this earlier, for us, is to be very competitive at a world level, at an international level. You got to prepare these girls. You got to teach these girls the discipline of the game, because it's not easy. It's very hard. And there's girls that sweat their butts on and off, you know. Every day it's a routine. And those are the girls that actually will, like I say, sell the product.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If you want women's baseball to succeed, you have to succeed individually. It's, you know, it's you're like a product yourself. It's like a product. So if you got to sell yourself out there. You got to sell. You got to, you know, give it 100%.
Right.
And that's the only way you're going to be successful. And that's, in my team, that's one. Discipline. Have your mind open, because you need to have a mind open for, you know, what people need to teach you, especially on this game. And then you got to execute. And I see these girls, some of my new girls, believe it or not, I got girls that just barely started a few months ago. They're hungry. They're hungry to play. They're hungry. They don't care. And like we were talking earlier, if you have a superstar who thinks, okay, I am, you know, the Sunday, like the Sunday girl that comes in, I can hit, you know, and then you have the one that works her butt off, you know, and she's hungry. That hungry one is going to surpass the Sunday girl sooner or later.
Right.
It might be sooner or it might be later, but it's guaranteed.
Hard work pays off.
Exactly.
Well, listen, is there a place maybe on Facebook or something where people could go to either donate to your team or buy hats or jerseys or anything like that?
We have not gotten into that point myself. I mean, I will eventually at one point. Right now, like I said, I want them to be competitive. I want them to learn the fundamentals and the discipline of the game. And you have to work hard for it. In order for you to keep going, you have to work hard. I mean, it's not Luis and Reales. No, it's Reales. So I promote them very well. I give them what they need. But if I don't see effort, then there's going to be a pause. You know what I mean? There's going to be a pause. And then when you surpass that, then you come with the ideas. Okay, now these girls are getting serious. Now it's time for me to get more serious. It goes by steps. So you go right here, we go the first 3 years. They had the opportunity to go to the Aguascalientes as a national team, some other girls. You know, they didn't. They did what they had to do, right? Experience. They have to come back and they have to even work harder now. But some of them didn't. Some of them didn't. So how you expect to go from one level and go on to what they call the next level, the next third level? No, you can't. You gotta go. You're gonna go right here. You guys gonna prove first Nicaragua that you're worthy and you're ready. Then comes to the next level and say, okay, Luis, what do you see? Then I can see, okay, now we're talking business now. Now we can go ahead. Let's bring out some shirts. Let's bring out some hats. Let's get people going. Let's talk to IWBC. Look, we're doing this fundraiser. We get ready. We got Dominican girls, the Reales getting their getting everything. Let's get it going. You know what I mean? And one of the things that I was talking to Manuel, and we have this idea, since he's secretary of the Confederation of the Caribbean Baseball, is that hopefully one day, it's a dream, but dreams are not impossible.
That's right.
Is to have like a Serie del Caribe, women's baseball. Where you have Venezuela, Mexico, Dominican Republic, and have that, or have like a mini of a preparation tournament, which handles USA, and you get credit for those tournaments for the WBSC.
Yeah.
Even though they're friendlies.
Right.
Even though they're friendlies.
Right. Right. Yeah.
And we were thinking about that. I mean, that's something that we you know, if you have a chance to interview those guys, then they'll probably be like, yeah, that's what we have in mind.
Yeah,
you know,
that's fantastic. That sounds great. Yeah.
One of the girls that is a Venezuelan pitcher. Her name is Kisbel Vizcaya. Ooh, that girl is so disciplined. She's great. Every day we write. Every day we keep in touch. Nicaragua, Venezuela, and we keep in touch. And you know, what am I doing wrong? What you know?
Yeah, it's good for her.
It's those kind of people that make you proud.
Yeah, yeah, right.
She's a bronze medalist in Pan American. Actually, silver medal in Pan American, and a bronze medal in the World Cup, which was in Viera, Florida.
Right. Yeah.
So she always tells me how's the team going, how's this going. So it's a community. So
it is.
She tells me, I have girls from the U.S. national team that tell me, how's your team doing? It's great. Rosy del Castillo from Mexico tells me, we keep in touch and we say, how's your team doing?
Right.
Talia, Venezuela. I think her name is Talia. Well, she's from Mexico. She's a Mexican national woman player. We always write. We always, how's everything?
Right. Yeah.
And then some of my girls have them in Facebook, and I say those kind of friendships that you gotta have with other pro players around worldwide.
Yeah.
They can help you out with advices too, and on how to become a ball player, a coach, a trainer, an owner, a sponsor. It doesn't matter.
Right. And maybe not even in the game of baseball necessarily, but just sort of, getting through life, right? I mean, not everybody's going to be a professional baseball player, but you learn a lot from playing baseball. And part of it is those relationships and that sense of community and pride and
yes, exactly.
And that's so important. Kate, do we have anything else? I know we're probably about out of time.
No, I think that
Luis and I could just talk all day long here, I think.
Yeah, I think that we have covered all of the questions, even if he didn't answer your questions specifically. They were answered above in our earlier conversation, but we are at about time. So I really want to thank both of you guys for joining us today. And
it was fun.
I'm sure that we will see you again, Louise, when we can kind of work out a panel discussion with some of your contacts down there in Latin America. So.
That would be great.
All right.
Thank you so much, Louise. We're looking forward to hearing what's next.
Thank you, Kat. Thank you. And shout out to Ryan.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Always.
All right, thank you.
Shout out to Ryan.
Thanks,
He's
Louise.
a great guy.
Yes, he is.
Have a good one, guys.
Thanks.
Are you interested in keeping up with Luis and his team? Follow the team on social media at Managua Reales on Twitter, at Reales de Managua on Instagram, or find them on Facebook at Página Oficial Reales de Managua. If you want to reach out to Luis directly, you can also email him at luislopezmatas@gmail.com. While you're at it, you can keep up with the IWBC at IWBC4Me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. If you're interested in becoming a member, please visit our website at internationalwomensbaseballcenter.org. If you liked our episode and are curious about our other digital content, don't forget to like and subscribe to IWBC Archive on YouTube. Joining us for Step Up to the Sport, and thank you again to Kat Williams and Luis Lopez for this conversation. Keep an eye out for new and upcoming content, and don't forget to step up to the sport.